Hello, Adam. Namaste. How are you doing?
Namaste, Mohit. It's a great morning here in California. How is it over there in Delhi today?
Oh, it's fantastic. The weather is changing. We we're heading towards. Well, we don't have fall in this country, so we're heading towards. We're going to be heading towards winter next month, and the what we call we have 6 seasons here, different
Six
seasons.
seasons.
Yeah. And we don't have autumn here in India. We have spring, and in terms of the Western season, we have spring, we have winter, we have summer, and then we've got our seasons divided into 6 different parts. Well, it's nice, it's warm, and it's bearable. It's not hot any longer, really. And welcome, Adam. We've got friends joining us now. We've got some of our regular friends who have joined us today to listen to you. Welcome, Mahendraji. Welcome, Savitriji. Welcome, Egor, um, George, and lots of other people who are joining in slowly. I'll quickly introduce myself. I am Mohit Agarwal. I am an experiential ecotourism specialist. I am the founder of this upcoming Global Wildlife Fair, which you see in the background, and Asian Adventures, which is a 31-year-old conservation travel company. I've been trained in sustainable tourism by GST, Global Sustainable Tourism Council, and I hold the position of vice chair in Asian Ecotourism Network, which is the Asian body of Global Ecotourism Network. When you come to Global Wildlife Fair in October, which is October 10 to 12, party states, October 10 to 12 in New Delhi, at the Constitution Club of India, Global Wildlife Fair is happening. And you'd be able to meet Adam, Igor, and Gisela at the Colombia Tourism stand. And you'd also be able to listen to his presentations and lectures. And this is going to be absolutely wonderful fair for the first time on the planet, first time in India. So that's a bit about me. Let me quickly introduce Adam to you. I'm going to read his introduction to you, but Adam will tell you more about himself. Adam Renoff is a California-based conservation photographer whose work has been published internationally, including in National Geographic. His photography is dedicated to showcasing the beauty of wildlife while promoting sustainable tourism and conservation. His fieldwork has focused extensively on Latin America, particularly Colombia, where he has documented iconic and endangered species such as the yellow-eared parrot and the Lima dove. Through his lens, he highlights not only the extraordinary biodiversity of these regions, but also the deep connection between cultural heritage, local communities, and the natural world. Over to you, Adam. Let's start with your magic.
Well, a little bit about me. I'm a photographer, but I'm also a traveler. I love to see the different areas of nature in different places. I focused a lot of Colombia because Colombia is very, very important for nature and wildlife here in this part of the world, just like India is important in the other part of the world. So I think the connection between Colombia and India is going to be a great connection that we're establishing here right now, live. Right now, we're making that connection between Colombia and India, and I'm so excited to be a part of it. Today, I'm going to talk about Colombia and my experiences in Colombia. What I'm not going to do is I'm not going to sell you anything because I have nothing to sell except for love for nature, which I have a lot to give. And one thing that we're going to talk about today is how to get around in Colombia. Colombia has a reputation of being very dangerous for tourism, and I'm here to tell you that that's just not true. It's very safe for tourism. And most of the time I get questions about how Colombia safe for birding? So is Colombia safe for hiking and wildlife? And I'll tell you right now, it absolutely is. but I'm going to give you not only that answer of yes, it's safe, but I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you that it's safe by telling you my experiences and my history in Colombia. So that's one of the important things that we're going to talk about today. And I'm excited to have this opportunity. Thank you, Mohit, and everyone else on the team that has made this possible. And I also want to thank my partners in crime, so to speak, my partners, Egor Sanchez and Gisela Sanchez in Colombia, for making this possible and doing the back end work in Colombia to make so many of our tours successful. So Mohit, we can go ahead and get started with the presentation, and I'm excited to get going.
Wonderful. Starting right away. Can you see it?
Yes, everything is perfect.
We'll just wait for a minute. I want everybody to say that they can see the presentation. There's been a glitch in the system for some time now, and I want people to say that they can see the first slide. Can you just type in the chat box if you can see the first slide? Yes. Okay. Yeah, go on.
Excellent. So the theme for today is Colombia safe for birding. For many years, Colombia has had a reputation of being very dangerous. But as you know, from anybody who travels around the world knows that any place can be dangerous if you don't have the right information. And I'm here to give you that information today. What I'm not going to do is I'm not going to show you pictures of the birding destinations. I'm not going to show you pictures of the lodges or the roads or the hotels or anything like that. You can get that on Google. You can get that all over the place. What I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you the birds. I'm going to show you the birds from my own eyes and my camera. I'm going to show you the birds that I've been able to capture in Colombia, and I'm going to talk about the different areas. Today, we've selected 6 different areas in Colombia. Now, for anybody who is visually impaired or anybody who wants to hear this out loud, I will be reading the text on the slides first, and then I'll be going into a very deep understanding of what those words mean for us in this context. Colombia is a country where extraordinary landscapes, vibrant cultures, and rich biodiversity create endless opportunities for ecotourism. And that is absolutely the truth. I've been traveling throughout Colombia for more than 20 years, and I've not even been able to hit just the first little bit of the different destinations in Colombia. There is so much to discover. With my other partners in this project, we've been able to go to remote places. I'll give you a couple of names, and you can go throw that in Google and look at it. One is Cumaribo. Egor, if you're online, can you type these out for me and just let people know where we've been? Cumaribo, it is a savanna-like area in the middle of Colombia. It's the largest municipal structure, kind of like a city structure, but municipal structure in Colombia. And it's all flat for miles and hundreds of miles in every direction. And many places, you don't even have anybody there. It's just absolutely beautiful. Another place is Amazonas, which is the Amazon jungle. I'm not going to be talking about the Amazon jungle today, because that is an entire hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, even 4 hours of just showing you what the Amazon jungle has to offer. And besides, it's split between each different country, and there's several different groups of indigenous there. So let's move on to the different areas of Colombia. I chose 6 different regions. As you can see, there's several different parts of Colombia. Each one, because of its different type of landscape, different climates, each one is going to give you a different experience. For example, on the very far Pacific side, we have Chocó in yellow, and that's going to be all Pacific microclimates all the way up to the Caribbean Sea and the Gulf. So that's going to be there. And also they've got the Darien jungle. Then you go down to the Valle del Cauca, which is a very important area because that's where the migration of the birds generally ends. And so they have a huge amount of migratory birds there. And that is a great opportunity. And then we move over to Tolima, which is the heart of Colombia. Tolima has the higher elevation, they call them páramos, they're cloud forests, which have a completely different microclimate. But Tolima also has river valleys and other areas and mountainous areas. So Tolima really is kind of the best of all worlds. If you only have one option to go to in Colombia, I would choose Tolima because of the diversity of microclimates and the amount of things you can do in just a few days. Then let's go down a little bit to, actually, let's go over to the Boyacá area. The Boyacá area is famous for the potato farming agriculture, but it's also a very expansive, large area that connects a lot of different places. What you'll be doing in Boyacá is you'll be experiencing a colder climate. I'll talk about climate in Colombia in a minute. You'll be very surprised if you don't know already. Boyacá, you'll be experiencing a colder climate in many of the areas, but also some of the areas very, very hot and humid. So Boyacá has a lot of different things to share. And we'll be seeing a photo today of a very, very, very important hummingbird that I photographed in Boyacá at a very high altitude. It was a wonderful experience. And all of these experiences are attainable. And I'll talk about Colombia in a little bit and how it is so attainable to get to Colombia and get around. Let's go south now to the beautiful Meta. I just got back from Meta about 6 hours ago. I just got back to California. I was in Meta in a place called Villavicencio. And in Meta, we have an expanse of flat savanna land. It looks like an African safari, but it has the animals and the flora, fauna of Colombia. Part of Meta also is mountainous region. And I was there for the past week exploring that with some great people, photographing birds, toucans. There's a toucanet called an aracari that looks like a toucan. It's a beautiful bird. You go to Meta and you'll be able to see this bird everywhere. And there's also a prehistoric bird that we'll see in the slides that is my favorite bird. And when we get there, I'll make sure and note that. And finally, at the very south area, not into Amazonas, which is the furthest south, but finally south of Meta, we have a place called Caquetá. Caquetá is one of the largest regions in Colombia. They call them departments, not states. We call them departments down there. The department of Caquetá is one of the largest in Colombia. Caquetá has a very diverse region because it is the entrance to the Amazon basin. They call it Amazonia, which is where you're entering the area of the Amazon. And because of that, it's the border area with the Amazon, and it really, really is spectacular. Great opportunities for birding and great opportunities for meeting different cultures and experiencing different areas and microclimates down in Caquetá. Caquetá is mostly a hot tropical climate, which is what we think of when we think of South America. So with those 6 in mind, we're going to go ahead and explore each one. We're going to explore each one individually. We have a comment from Navneil saying that we are seeing the first slide only. So I want to make sure that we're looking at a map of Colombia. Can I get some confirmations from the people in the chat, please, to make sure that we're looking at the right slides? Right now, we have a slide up here that is the map of Colombia. Can anybody confirm that for me?
We have to wait for a minute because, yes, Gitanjali says yes. Okay, so yeah, people are good to go.
Thank you very much. I love the interactive nature of these events. So Mohit, I'm going to dive into each individual region that we're going to talk about today. I want to make sure that everybody knows that, as you can see on the map, there's so many different regions of Colombia to explore, and each one has an incredible list of birds and an incredible list of experiences that you can enjoy. And as we talk about throughout the presentation, it's closer and more economical than you could ever imagine. So let's move on to the first area. The first area is Tolima. And as I said, I'm going to be reading the slides off for anybody who's either visually impaired or needs the information sounded out. Tolima is the central Andean region of Colombia where cities, towns, and natural reserves connect travelers to both culture and wilderness. This particular bird is one of my favorite hummingbirds, the sword-billed hummingbird. And he has this long sword bill to take an advantage of some of the flowers in Colombia that are very long, like this one right here. Gives him an advantage over other hummingbirds. And all of the photos that I show from the different areas have been taken in those areas. And of course, I can offline later on guide you to see any of these birds. If you want to make a list of the birds that you want to see, I can actually connect you with the people that can be there and guide you locally through those different areas. So feel free to ask away anytime you want. We have a national bird guide, Egor Merrick Sanchez, with us in the chat, and also Gisela Sanchez. And they are experts on the different regions and areas, and we can search down these birds and tell you exactly where to go and where to find them. But let's get back to Tolima. Tolima is the real heart of Colombia. It is the center of the Andes. Here we have many of the different microclimates working together. Now in Colombia, the microclimates are defined by the altitude. We have the colder climates on top, and then we have the river valleys at the bottom, and Tolima has all of it. Tolima, it has a special place in my heart because I've been able to go to many different areas in Tolima and focus on capturing the birds in this area to show people why Tolima is a great opportunity. The high ridges and valleys of Tolima create striking landscapes that attract ecotourism and nature-based travel. Here we have the crimson-mantled woodpecker, one of the residents of Tolima that you will be able to see in Tolima. Now, because we have these high ridges and valleys, what we have is not only opportunities to view the birds, the mammals, and the wildlife here in Tolima, but we have the opportunity to see the incredible landscapes on the way. Now, I have my camera for wildlife photography with a long lens, but with just your cell phone, you can easily get the landscape photography that you need to make those memories in those places that I'm talking about. Very high mountains, winding roads. It's a beautiful experience. In Tolima, we have the mountains and the valleys, very many things to explore. One of the endemic birds is this bird, the Tolima dove. It is endemic to just Tolima and nowhere else. So it's very important. And it's on the list of many birders in the world that come to Colombia to look for this Tolima dove. We have some places that can reliably show you this bird so you can see it easily close to the capital city of Tolima, which is Ibagué. The rivers of Tolima carve deep valleys, sustain forests, and offer destinations for ecotourism. The most famous river in Colombia that goes through the heart of Colombia is the river called the Magdalena. The Magdalena goes right through the center of Tolima and has a lot of different ports. While you're in Tolima, you can get onto a boat on the Magdalena and experience that. You can experience the history, and you can also experience the wildlife. In the daytime, in the nighttime, at any time, Tolima is always ready to give you lots of great landscapes to view. And that is true. These rivers have carved valleys through the area, and it's absolutely beautiful. The Magdalena River in many places is just rocks on both sides. It looks like it was created by gods, really. It was absolutely beautiful. But the Tolima dove is one of the endemic birds in Colombia that you won't see anywhere else in the world. And Tolima is the only place to see it. So we're going to move on and talk about some more places in Tolima. One of my favorite places in Tolima is a place called Roncesvalles. And they have something there that is very unique to Colombia and that area of the world. The towering wax palms. These are the palm trees that are taller than any other palm tree on the planet. The towering wax palms of Roncesvalles are a centerpiece of ecotourism and Colombia's natural identity. Not only are the wax palms important to Colombia's identity, but they're home to the yellow-eared parrot. The yellow-eared parrot is a very, very important member of the avian species. This parrot is in danger of extinction. Luckily, through some conservation efforts, we've been able to increase the number of parrots that are out there. And they use these wax palms, which are also in danger of loss in habitat. They use these wax palms as nests. And what we're looking at right here is a yellow-eared parrot in a nest in Roncesvalles. Now, wax palms exist outside Roncesvalles in various parts of Colombia, mostly the center of Colombia. And the best place to see these wax palms and the most convenient is in Tolima. And so another reason why to go to Tolima. Roncesvalles, a center of the wax palms in Colombia. Also in Colombia, also in Tolima, very near the city, a few minutes outside the city, we have a reserve called Entre Aguas, which means between rivers, between the waters. And this is a very small reserve, but a very densely packed animal reserve with birds that is run by the family of Gisela Sanchez, which will be there at the event in New Delhi with us. And she'll be able to answer questions about that area. The Reserva Entre Aguas is a private conservation area that showcases Tolima's biodiversity through ecotourism. And this is the crimson-backed tanager, an absolute beauty of a bird, strikingly red. This is a red that just lights up the camera and lights up the screen. Very, very good to photograph, but it's also difficult to photograph. Just to note, that beak shines so much. The locals call it the silver-beaked tanager. Silver beak, because it looks like it's silver, because it just shines like a fluorescent silver lighting up the area. So Reserva Entre Aguas is a place where the birds come every day. And this one you can see there. And you can learn all about that when we have the fair. I'm excited for this fair. Let's move on. The Andean motmot. They also, in Spanish, they call it the barranquero, which means the bank bird, because this bird makes its nest in the mud banks in different areas of Colombia. This one is the Andean motmot, but this particular family of birds can be seen all over Central and South America. These are the motmots. They call them the barranqueros. And one great place to see these birds is a place called Melgar. It's in Tolima. It's very close to the capital city of Bogota. And it is a warm climate. And it's famous for the tourism center there. They have a great infrastructure of hotels, a great infrastructure of tours, and they can offer everything you need from transportation to tours to nature reserves. Melgar, known for its warm climate and tourism, offers access to the lowland side of Tolima. And so when you get to Melgar, you're actually going down in elevation into the Magdalena River Valley. And the temperature goes up, and it's a great place to even bring the family for a vacation and enjoy the pools and go for a little bit of river swimming in Melgar because it's nice and warm. And again, very safe. And we'll talk about that a little bit more as we go along. This gem is the Andean cock of the rock. One of my favorite birds, absolutely, in Colombia and everywhere in the world. Communities in Tolima are leading conservation projects that welcome ecotourism as part of their future. Very important to never forget that the conservation of these animals depends on ecotourism. It depends on you and me visiting and making this a part of our destination. This particular bird here, I filmed in the small community of San Jose de las Hermosas. And this is a small community very far away from any other big city. And they have conservation there, a group of these beautiful birds, the Andean cock of the rock, that you can see. Now, this also exists in other places in Colombia. And we have this in Valle del Cauca, which we'll talk about in a minute, and other parts of Colombia, and also in Peru and other parts of South America. But Tolima is a place where you can easily see these birds. Now, these are the small spectacled parrotlets, one of my favorite species because of the bright green color. And we're getting close to that capital city. Ibagué is the capital city of Tolima, but it's also very close to Bogota, the musical capital of Colombia. Very important because Tolima has a history of, if you believe it, European classical music coming to Colombia, and Ibagué is the center. Ibagué is a great place to stay a couple of days, enjoy the culture, and look at all of the different musical opportunities you have there. Ibagué, the musical capital of Colombia, enriches ecotourism with culture, history, and urban energy. A great urban center. Ibagué is only a few hours away from the capital city of Bogota, which most of you will be coming into if you come visit. And one of the key things you can do is to go to Ibagué from Bogota in a little bus, and I'll talk about that in a minute. Exploring Tolima means crossing from mountain peaks to warm valleys and discovering hidden reserves along the way. This particular golden-headed mannequin, I shot this in a little place called Mariquita, and it's just absolutely beautiful. They have a reserve there that you can enter, go into the town and talk to the local police, and they will escort you in there if you want to have somebody with you, or you can go in there with just the local guides. But local guides are very important because they know the spots and they know how to deal with the local community to make sure we have permission to go to some of these reserves, which are some of them private, but they're very accessible. So these hidden reserves are the ones that you really need to look out for because they are worth it. Gems in the forest. Tolima is a destination where geography, culture, and conservation converge to create unforgettable ecotourism experiences. This is the white-throated toucanet. And this is one of the species that most people go to Colombia to see. What a great opportunity that I had to see this toucanet coming out of its nest and saying hello to us with his big smile. And this is also another area in Tolima. But Tolima is not the only place to go. We'll talk about some other places in just a minute. We're getting to that information. But Tolima, like I said, is one of my favorite places to visit because there's so many things to do and it's so very close to each other. If you don't have a whole lot of time, I would say drop in and go to Tolima or some other places we talk about in a few minutes are also very good to go. So, travel tip. In Colombia, you can take a public bus from Bogota to Ibagué. It's just a few hours, maybe 2 or 3 hours in a bus. It's quick, safe, inexpensive, and a great way to immerse yourself into the local culture. These public buses are super safe, they're comfortable, and you get a chance to talk to the local community on your way to Ibagué from Bogota or from any point to any point in Colombia. You'll be exposed to the local food, to the local drink, you listening to the local music, and every time they stop to pick up or drop off people, there's an opportunity to sample the local food, all from your bus seat, because they can come onto the bus and offer you things from their own homes that they cook. It's a beautiful way to explore Colombia by bus. So now we're going to move on to the next area, which is Chocó. Chocó is usually considered the Pacific side of Colombia, but there is a part of Chocó that curves through the Darien jungle and goes to the Atlantic side, where we have the Caribbean and we have the Gulf areas of that part of Colombia, the northern coast. This particular place that I encountered the black-cheeked woodpecker was in a place called Capurganá. Chocó is a remote region of Colombia where Capurganá and coastal forests connect travelers to one of the world's most biodiverse areas. Chocó is one of the most remote areas that you can go to, but the coastal area of Capurganá is a great place to go to look at these birds and look at the to look at all of the options that we have in this biodiversity. So Leslie is telling us that the video is stuck, and so I'm testing me to make sure you can see my video. So Leslie, tell me if you can see my video moving, so we can make sure everybody has an opportunity to see this wonderful broadcast. Excellent. Thank you, Mohit. So Leslie, can you at least hear me? Because I think others are able to see the moving video. Excellent. So Chocó is a great place to go, and it is very important to get a local guide into Chocó because Chocó has so very many remote areas that if you don't have a local guide, you'll probably be searching for the different points, and it's important to do that. Now, my partner, Egor Sanchez, has a lot of contacts in Chocó, and also he has different tours in Chocó. He will be at the fair to answer your questions about this special area. The blue-chested hummingbird, one of the most beautiful hummingbirds that we encounter in Colombia. Capurganá, again, a coastal town on the northern coast of Colombia, offers visitors a blend of tropical landscapes, local culture, and access to nearby natural reserves. Capurganá is going to drop you into a totally different culture, the Afro-American culture of the northern coast that is in Chocó. It is a great opportunity to meet other people, fresh seafood, and also we have opportunities to get off of the shore and go into the ocean and visit the islands that are there that have some great birds as well. Like this one. This is the brown booby. There is a rock island off the coast of Capurganá that is easily accessible by contracting one of the fishing boats during the day. In the morning, you can go out on a fishing boat and they can bring you to this island where we can see the brown booby. Absolutely spectacular to see. The coastal forests of Chocó provide a lush and vibrant setting for ecotourism and exploration. This brown booby was on a rock island with other species of booby and also other species of bird. Absolutely a phenomenal place to visit. In the migration area right now, they're counting hundreds of thousands of birds every day passing this exact spot on their way migrating into Colombia. And so talk to your local guide. We can connect you with local guides on all of these spots. So talk to your local guide about the migration and you can get the dates together and go down there and actually see the great migration of birds into Colombia. Also in Chocó, we have the green heron, a beautiful, beautiful, colorful heron to see that is easy to see on the coast of Chocó. The Caribbean coast of Chocó adds beaches and marine habitats to its already rich ecotourism offerings. I focus on birds, but looking at the marine animals, there are local guides that can show you the different areas to see both dolphins and whales on the Pacific side of Chocó. There's whaling opportunities so that you can go view the whales off of the coast. Both Egor and Gisela, my partners in this, can direct you to how to get out to see the whales while you're even birding in the other days. Take a break and go see the whales of Colombia. They're the same whales that passed me over here in California. Now, inside Chocó, we also have the forest. So walking a little bit inside the forest, you'll have the rivers and wetlands in Chocó. They connect the forest to the sea and create ideal habitats for wildlife. Here we're seeing the fork-tailed flycatcher, one of the most dramatic birds that you can see because of that long, beautiful tail. Incredible. And also, this is a very easy bird to see all around the savanna. A matter of fact, its scientific name is Tyrannus savanna. And that tells you how easy it is to see in the savannas of not only Chocó, but other places as well. The pale-bellied hermit hummingbird is one of the beautiful hummingbirds you'll see there. Chocó is recognized as one of the most biodiverse regions on Earth, attracting ecotourists from around the world. We have a lot of tourism going into Chocó, but not too much. And that is one of the opportunities to visit the raw area of Chocó, Colombia, where you can see all of these beautiful species and sometimes not even see another tourist on your entire trip. The local guides, again, are very important. so that they can lead you to the different areas and show you the different areas and also interact with the community. Because these local guides live in the area. They grew up in the area. And that's one of the best reasons to choose a local guide in Colombia. This is another photo of the blue-chested hummingbird. And again, one of my favorite species. The Afro-Colombian and indigenous traditions give Chocó a cultural richness that enhances ecotourism experiences. We all know that birding during the morning is the best time, but in the afternoon, you can go and experience the Afro-Colombian music and food that is part of the culture of Colombia. Reaching Chocó requires effort, but the remoteness adds value to ecotourism experiences. It does take a couple of flights to get there. From Bogotá, you may have to take 2 more flights to get to your final destination in Chocó. And sometimes you might have to take a boat, and you can choose even to take a horse ride or a canoe or a long walk into the final destination. But once you get there, Chocó really is worth it. In Spanish, we say, vale la pena. It's worth the effort. This is the long-tailed tyrant, another long-tailed species, visible in Chocó and other parts of Colombia. And it's a real sight to see. This one, I took this photo right on the border of Colombia and Panama, maybe about 100 meters from the border. And there's a certain place in Chocó called Capurganá where you can take a day walk into Panama and come back the same day. Visit 2 countries in one trip. So it's a great experience. And you don't need to go through any special craziness. You just need to say hello to the people in Panama, and they welcome you with open arms. Also, one of the most beautiful, colorful birds is the golden-collared manakin. Protecting Chocó's forests and coasts is essential for both biodiversity and sustainable tourism. And your ecotourism dollars is going to go to protection of the coast and environment. Chocó is a destination where forests, rivers, and coasts unite with culture to create unforgettable ecotourism experiences. Now, this may be a not too brightly colored bird, but the eastern wood pewee is very striking, and it is very, very tiny. A wonderful bird to see, to add to your list if you want to keep track of your birding list or just be there to enjoy the environment. Travel tip in Colombia: don't bring US dollars. Don't bring any foreign money, because taking out Colombian pesos from the airport ATMs to pay in local currency is the way. You don't need traveler's checks. Bring your credit card, because it's all tap to pay at the big restaurants and the hotels, and the Colombian pesos for the local food that you find on the street, which is safe to eat. Your guides can tell you where are good places to get street food. Your guides can tell you where the good places to walk and how to be safe in Colombia. So again, is Colombia safe for birding? Absolutely. Very safe area. Your guides can give you more guidelines on how to make sure that you can be like a local in Colombia. This is the prehistoric bird I was talking about. This particular bird we captured in Caquetá. The name is a huatzin, and Caquetá is a southern Colombian region where the Andes meet the Amazon, offering travelers a gateway to extraordinary biodiversity. And any of you who are birding experts know that when you're at the border of 2 different climates and 2 different ecosystems, you're going to get a lot of wildlife. And this is one of the birds that you cannot miss if you go to Colombia. Caqueta's capital city is named Florencia, Florence, just like in Italy, Florencia. And from there, it's just a short trip to a river called the Rio Orteguasa. It's a river called the Orteguasa. And there, this particular prehistoric looking bird is all over the river. Very easy to see in a day trip. In Caqueta, also, you can see the blue and yellow macaw. The foothills of Caqueta create a dramatic landscape where the Andean peaks descend into the vast forests. These are areas where the macaws, locally called guacamaya, the macaws are plentiful and very easy to see. You will never, ever, ever forget the first time in your life that you see a beautiful macaw flying free overhead. The sounds, the environment, and the moment sticks with you forever. The memories are absolutely incredible. And also on the rivers of Caqueta, we have the roseate spoonbill, one of the most brilliantly colored river birds you can encounter. The rivers of Caqueta are lifelines that sustain both local communities and ecotourism activities. The rivers are actually the highways down there that connect different local villages, and you can explore those local villages with just a quick boat ride that's available to anybody who comes in. Your local guides can set you up with these local boat rides, and you can go experience a small village and then come back in the afternoon after having a wonderful locally cooked meal. And remember, Colombia is very economical compared to other places in the world that we look at, for instance, Costa Rica or areas in Europe or the United States. Colombia is going to be very economical to go and explore. In Cartagena del Chairá, a remote town that connects travelers to the surrounding Amazonian wilderness, we encountered this white bearded manakin, a beautiful, beautiful bird in a small town that's a little bit remote from the capital city of Florencia, but it's easily achieved with a short ride in a 4x4 or a local transport. The old Willys Jeeps. Yes, the old Willys Jeeps. You can jump on one of those and they'll take you into Cartagena del Chairá, which is a port town with access to all types of different areas on the river in Caqueta. And from there, you can see lots of birds from the town of Cartagena del Chairá. Don't confuse Cartagena del Chairá with Cartagena on the coast of Colombia. Those are two different places. The forests of Caqueta harbor a staggering variety of plants and animals that make ecotourism experiences unforgettable. This is the Rufous motmot, the famous orange motmot, which is also locally called, as I said before, the barranquero. And that means that they make their homes in the muddy banks of rivers and hills near wetland areas, mostly near rivers. But the Rufous motmot, I took this photo in Caqueta, very close to Florencia, the capital city. You don't have to go very far from these cities in order to get these wonderful images. If you're a photographer, it is one of the best places to go in Caqueta to get wonderful photos of wild, wild birds. One of my favorite birds is the sun bittern, with two suns, one on each wing. Exploring Caqueta offers the chance to encounter rare species in their natural Amazonian environment. What could be better than to capture a bird like this in their natural environment? Absolutely amazing. Now, remember, as we go through these slides, I want you to think about some questions, because at the end, You have me for questions as long as you need. In Caquetá, we have the neotropic cormorant. This particular one is a juvenile. And this one I photographed on a river. Communities in Caquetá share traditions and knowledge that add depth to ecotourism experiences. This particular bird was on a river, and going down the river, the guide that was with me was talking to me about how his family goes up and down this river to buy and sell different agricultural products in the local villages. Wonderful information to know, and a great experience in Caquetá and other places in Colombia, of course. The rufescent tiger heron, one of the most intricately detailed herons that you can encounter, is easily visible in Caquetá among the river areas of Caquetá. Deforestation and land use change threaten Caquetá, but with ecotourism, we can provide a sustainable alternative. Every peso that you spend in Caquetá or anywhere in Colombia, if you talk to your guides and you make sure those pesos go to the community, that inspires the community to continue their conservation and avoid deforestation. This scarlet ibis, I gotta tell you, this thing will break your camera. It is one of the hardest birds to photograph on the face of the earth because that red, fuchsia, pink, bright color almost breaks my sensor. But if you are going to be at the Wildlife Fair in New Delhi, I will be giving a class on how to exactly take a picture of this bird and not have it break your sensor. I'm going to have a photography class. So more on that very soon. Traveling through Caquetá is an adventure of a river's remote forest and the thrill of discovery. This scarlet ibis really looks like it was painted and not actually found in nature. Again, my favorite bird, this prehistoric huatzin. Caquetá is a destination where ecotourism connects travelers to the beauty and fragility of the Amazon frontier. This bird is a must-see if you go to Colombia, and Caquetá is one of the easiest places to see it. We're going to talk about another area in a few minutes that you can also see this bird very easily. I was looking at this bird just 2 days ago in a place called Meta. We're going to cover that in just a minute. Travel tip: when you're in Caquetá, book a river cruise on the Marco Polo river trip experience. And there you can experience the Orteguaza River and see the exotic huatzin bird that I just showed you. Marco Polo, everybody knows who he is. Talk to your local guide or just ask people at the local port, where's Marco Polo? And he will guide you down the river of the Orteguaza and show you the different birds that are to offer. Moving on to Meta. I was just in Meta. I got back just a few hours ago, and I can tell you, Meta is one of the most unique experiences you'll ever have. Meta, along with another place next door as Casanare, another one Vichada and Arauca, make up the Colombian Llanos. This is just another name for the savanna. We're going to focus on Meta hoy. Today, we're going to talk about Villavicencio and Restrepo. Meta is a gateway to Colombia's Llanos, the savanna, where Villavicencio, the city where I was at just a few hours ago, and Restrepo, another city close by, connect travelers to vast plains and rich biodiversity. This particular bird is the purple gallinule. The purple gallinule exists all the way up into North America, but it is a sight to see this immature purple gallinule with the colors of the rainbow as the plumage is changing into the signature purple, deep, thick purple colors. And this one I saw in Meta, and I was able to capture it. Wonderful experience. The jacamar, the white-chinned jacamar. Remember, the llanos is the savanna. So the llanos stretch endlessly across Meta, offering travelers a sense of open space and natural wonder. When you go into the llanos, you are going to be going into an area that is a savanna with hundreds of kilometers in every direction of just flat land, flat safari land that you can enjoy and see birds like this jacamar. Beautiful bird. People think he's a hummingbird, but he's not. He actually eats insects, and he's an expert flyer to catch insects in midair. If you are a videographer, find a jacamar, ask your local guide, they know where they are. Find one of these jacamar, and you can film him on video catching an insect in midair and going back to the same spot. It is a wonderful experience. And yes, with these local guides, it's very safe. It's safe for your camera equipment. I have Canon R5 with a long 800mm lens. I've never had any problem anywhere in Colombia in taking photos in these remote areas. The local guides, they know everybody, and everything is very, very safe. The scarlet macaw. The scarlet macaw is one of the birds that is famous for seeing in Colombia. When you can see a wild macaw, it is something that you will never, ever forget. Villavicencio, which is the capital of Meta, and also the local big city where you have access to everything, including hotels, medical services, drugstores, restaurants, and even replacing a camera strap, getting an SD card for your camera, or getting your binoculars touched up and cleaned. You can have that in Villavicencio. That is the starting point. Villavicencio blends city life with easy access to the savanna, making it the starting point for ecotourism. And remember, when we're done with this seminar, you will be able to have this in video so you can go back, start and stop, and make notes on each individual item. And I will always be accessible to contact if you have any specific questions or need a contact for a local guide. I can connect you with them and they can show you all of these things that I'm showing you today. This is the aracari, the beautiful, the wonderful, the famous lettered aracari. The town of Restrepo in Meta, among other areas in Meta, you can find this bird. I saw this bird literally yesterday, 24 hours ago. I was looking at this bird in a nature reserve in Villavicencio in Meta. 24 hours ago, I was looking at this bird. We had, I think there were 3 to 5 of them that came by and allowed us to look at them. They came by very close to us, maybe about 10 meters away. It was a beautiful sight, the lettered aracari. The town of Restrepo, which is one of the towns near Villavicencio, highlights rural traditions and connects visitors to the daily life of the Llanos. If you've ever wanted to be a cowboy or a cowgirl, you can go out to the Llanos in Restrepo. They will put you up on a horse. They'll teach you how to ride it, get you a big cowboy hat, and you can enjoy the environment of the Llanos. The green ibis. Now, ibis you'll find everywhere around Colombia, but the green ibis is special because of the intense green that it has. To photograph the green ibis, you need the exact perfect light, but it is achievable. It is achievable in Meta, very easy to do, because the green ibis will reflect off of the morning sun in the llano. The rivers and wetlands in Meta sustain both wildlife and communities, creating natural destinations for ecotourism. And that's good because the local culture already has their income from cattle, from meat, from milk and cheese. The cheese is delicious. And so there are certain areas next to where the cattle graze that are protected as reserves, as nature reserves. Excuse me. So you can visit those nature reserves and enjoy the rivers and the wetlands. One of the super special species to see is the potu. This one is a nocturnal bird that hides in the trees at night or during the day, and at night goes to hunt with its beak and its big eyes. It can hunt during the night, and then by the time the sun comes up, it'll be back asleep, and you'll be walking by a tree and you'll never know it's there. With the camouflage of these birds, they're very hard to see. But again, I'll say it again, your local guides know where these birds are to bring you there. And when you see them, you'll never understand how it's possible to see it without a guide. The llanos of Meta and other parts of the llanos change dramatically between wet and dry seasons, offering unique ecotourism experiences year-round. Literally, the roads in the llano move to different locations depending on the wet and the dry season. Yes, in the dry season, the roads go over this way. And then when it gets wet, the roads move and you have to take another route. That is another reason why your local transport and your local guides will be essential in helping you navigate those different areas and routes. Again, we have the beautiful woodpeckers. This crimson-crested woodpecker was seen in Meta. Cattle ranching traditions in Meta and other places in the llano add cultural richness to ecotourism experiences in the llanos. So if you are interested in the cattle ranches, they're everywhere and you can go visit them. And some of them also offer tours. Your local guide can set you up with that, so you can see what it's like to be a cattle rancher. The female ringed kingfisher. This ringed kingfisher is a large, beautiful kingfisher that we saw in Meta. Right now, we see that she is fishing. She is searching for food. She's hunting. And in order to get to these areas, we're talking about transportation. The classic Willys Jeeps take travelers from village centers into the countryside and the savannah. And the transport is so very economical. Most of the time, you can take a Willys Jeep along with everyone else. If you want to hang off the back, you can do that too. Just stand up on the back and hold on to the top and have an experience like you've never even imagined on a Willys Jeep. And how much does it cost? $1 or $2 for a trip. It's very economical. One of the gems of the llanos is the white-throated toucan. This one I encountered in Meta. The llanos support extraordinary biodiversity that makes Meta a leading destination for bird and wildlife tourism. You can go and see this particular bird, take a local transport, and be there in just a few minutes. The toucans show up in the morning, a beautiful sight to see at the top and the peaks of these trees. This is one of my favorites. If you know anything about Pokemon, this is the Pikachu bird. They call it, the birders call it the Pikachu, and it is officially called the cream-colored woodpecker. Meta is a destination where ecotourism thrives by combining open landscapes with the cultural traditions and rich biodiversity. This particular one is the male of the species. The female is almost identical, but without the red marking on the face. Travel tip. In Meta, try a delicious dish called carne a la llanera in a place called Cumaral. It's a charming town near the city of Villavicencio, just a few minutes away. Carne la llanera is basically barbecue. You can choose beef or pork, and there are also other options for different types of foods there. But because this area of Colombia is famous for cattle, it's beef, which is one of the most popular. But there is options for pork, and it's also just as delicious. Carne a la llanera. Now we're moving to one of the more famous destinations in Colombia, Valle del Cauca. Valle del Cauca is a Western Colombian region where Cali, a very famous city, and nearby reserves connect travelers to culture and the Andes. This particular white-necked Jacobin I captured in an area very close to the center of Cali, one of the largest cities in Colombia. And it also has an international airport that has several daily flights, probably, I would say almost 100 daily flights from Bogota to Cali and back. Very easy to get to. The last time I looked, a flight from Cali to Bogota, or the reverse, is between $35 and $50 for an air flight. Yes, that's how economical it is to travel around Colombia internally. Quetzal. I bet you didn't know that Colombia has quetzal. Colombia has several species of quetzales, of the quetzals. This one is the golden-headed quetzal, one that you will be very, very lucky to see. But again, your local guides can tell you where they are. The Western Andes rise sharply above the Cauca Valley, offering ecotourism and cloud forests and mountain trails. This particular photo we took in a cloud forest way above the city of Cali, with beautiful views of the city and the Cauca Valley that is famous for cane sugar. And yes, you can take tours through the cane sugar fields and see the large trucks carrying the cane sugar to market as you're traveling to your birding destination. One of my favorite places to go and one of the most easily accessible. And I'm going to jump in here and say that if you are in a wheelchair or have limited mobility and you need something that is wheelchair friendly and does not require hiking, maybe you're not able to hike through Colombia, Finca Alejandria is one of the places that you can go where you drive straight into the parking lot, and a few meters away from the parking lot is the viewing area for these beautiful, beautiful birds. Finca Alejandria is a hummingbird reserve that draws ecotourists to the mountains near Cali. One of the best places to see hummingbirds, and one of my very, very, very highly listed, probably my number one place to go if you have limited mobility and you want to bring either a family member or some younger children to an area and see these hummingbirds and experience that without having to hike or go into any areas that are difficult to get to. Also nearby, there's the same place of Finca Alejandria. There's a place called Birdwatch La Conchita. Combines community, hospitality with rich biodiversity, making it a favorite stop for travelers. Now, Birdwatch La Conchita is a very small spot in the middle of an area outside of Cali, looking over the downtown. But in this small spot and also other areas nearby there, you can see the multicolored tanager, one of the most colorful species that exists on the planet and one of the most strikingly bright colored species you can see in Colombia. Another bright colored species is the saffron-crowned tanager. Also viewable near Cali in the Valle del Cauca. Cali adds music, history, and energy to ecotourism in Valle del Cauca. Cali is generally regarded as the home of salsa music for Colombia. If you like salsa music, you can go to Cali and listen to it, and I'll show you on my next travel tip exactly where to go. This female green-tailed train bearer was seen in one of the flowered gardens right near the city of Cali. These gardens with flowers and feeders make wildlife accessible to ecotourists of all ages and abilities. Now, Caquetá, Meta, and those other places I've been talking about are wonderful places to go. But again, if you are of an age or ability that you can't go into this extreme adventure or the great crude raw areas of Colombia, there are gardens near the town, near the city of Cali, that you can go and have this experience. Very important to keep that in mind. The Valle del Cauca is famous for its hummingbirds. The private reserves in Valle del Cauca demonstrate how ecotourism directly supports conservation. This purple-throated wood star was at a private reserve. And these private reserves require either local guides or contacting the reserve directly in order to see what they have to offer. Now, these private reserves don't always require a local guide, but your local guide can be key in telling you which of these reserves to go to. And they also provide your transportation services that you can get there and see these birds. A photograph like this one is relatively easy in these private reserves because they are built for birders and photographers. This crimson-rumped toucanet, I love this photo. Unfortunately, there's no crimson on the rump visible in this one, but this is one of my favorite images because you get to see the massive size of this beak on this toucanet compared to its body. Staying in the countryside of Valle del Cauca gives ecotourists authentic experiences with local families. These private reserves are run by local families, not just in Valle del Cauca, but in other areas as well. And these local families open up their homes to you, serve you a wonderful breakfast while you're looking at the birds that they take care of in these natural areas. It is an incredible experience, knowing that every peso that you spend goes to the families and goes to the community. Another specialized species that does need a guide to find because these ducks are in different places. My contact, Egor Sanchez, is here, and he is a specialist in guiding into the areas of the torrent ducks. These are very unique ducks that live in these fast-moving waters. And they go from rock to rock and jump into the water, and they feed going up and down these rivers every day. Very important to have a local guide if you want to see a species as unique as this one. This is the female torrent duck, which is just as beautiful as the male, but has a different coloration. The Valle del Cauca offers easy access to ecotourism destinations within a short drive of Cali. This particular spot where I took this photo is just a few minutes outside the downtown of Cali. You leave at 5:30 in the morning, and you can be back in Cali within a few hours. The original Angry Birds, the red-headed barbet, is very easy to see in this area in Valle del Cauca. It exists in other areas, but in Valle del Cauca, it's very easy to see and photograph. Valle del Cauca is a destination where ecotourism blends Andean landscapes, cultural richness, and community conservation. This particular bird is easy to see, starting in Cali and going to a destination nearby in Cali. Now, Valle del Cauca has very many destinations that are far away from Cali as well. But in order to see these, you can take a short drive from the center of a big city and have that same experience. Travel tip. In Valle del Cauca, stay in the modern hotels of Cali and go salsa dancing at the El Mulato Cabaret. The El Mulato Cabaret is a huge salsa club in the middle of Cali, and you can go and have a night experience and be back in the hotel in time for a good night's sleep to go birding the next morning. If you need any information or want any information, my friend Egor Merrick Sanchez is here in the chat, and he can connect you to all of these things in Cali and different areas of Colombia as well. Moving on, we have Boyacá. In Boyacá, we have the special mountainous region of Colombia, where towns and cloud forests welcome travelers seeking both culture and nature. This is the super famous bearded helmet crest hummingbird. He is on top of a special plant called a frailejón. These plants are sponges that absorb the water from the cloud forest and provide all of the sustenance for the rivers that feed the Amazon River. This bird, to me, is the most important bird on the planet, because without this bird's pollination, we wouldn't have the frailejones, these plants, and we wouldn't have the water going into the Amazon River, and we would experience a huge lack of water and oxygen that the Amazon basin feeds to the rest of the world. To see this bird, it is a little bit of a hike, but it is close to where you need to go see it in Boyacá, a place called Sogamoso that is also a great town to set up shop and use as your headquarters to venture into the different areas. The cloud forests of Boyacá create misty, magical settings that are ideal for ecotourism. One of the rarest birds in the world, the Apollinaris wren, a very, very tiny bird that is very hard to find, very hard to see. And you can add that to your birding list in Boyacá. Another area in Boyacá is called San Pablo de Borbur. It is a great area that can connect you to different parts of Boyacá. This is the masked tetira. San Pablo de Borbur serves as a hub for ecotourism, linking travelers to forests and the emerald mines of Colombia. If you want to go see the actual emerald mines of Colombia, you can go to this area and you can see the emerald mines as they're working right now. And you can also go to areas where you walk right up to the side of a mountain and you can pull pieces of the emerald compound rock right from the wall of the area. And there are many places to purchase directly from there the compound where they get the emeralds from, the raw rock. Very good experience. And this, of course, is the colored aracari. Again, in San Pablo de Borbur. In San Pablo de Borbur, they have the twin peaks of Fura and Tena that has a special story behind it. The twin peaks of Fura and Tena dominate the landscape. and add cultural meaning to ecotourism. Go to San Pablo de Borbur. You can do your birding in the morning, and you can take a short hike to a viewing platform to see Fura and Tena, the Twin Peaks, and listen to the story, the legend of Fura and Tena. It is a beautiful story. This is the blue-winged teal, a beautiful duck in the area of Boyacá and other places. The forests of Boyacá harbor an extraordinary variety of species that support sustainable tourism. Almost done, Mohit. Let's go. In Boyacá, early mornings in Boyacá reveal both the beauty of the forest and the excitement of discovery. Here we have the brown-backed chat tyrant on top of a frailejón in the high-altitude páramo of Boyacá. We also have the fasciated tiger heron. Now, mining and deforestation threatens Boyacá's forests, but ecotourism offers a path forward. And everything you spend there goes into the community when you contact a local guide. One of my favorites is the rufous-tailed hummingbird, seen here showing off his rufous tail. The people of Boyacá add warmth and authenticity to ecotourism experiences. When you get to Boyacá, you can buy a local coat called the ruana. It is basically a poncho made of local wool. And the other potu, the nocturnal bird that hunts in the nighttime. Traveling through Boyacá means navigating remote roads, hidden valleys, and unforgettable landscapes. Boyacá is a great land adventure because you get into that 4x4 and you can go and see all kinds of different birds. Again, the long-tailed tyrant, viewable in Boyacá. Boyacá is a destination where ecotourism links your cloud forest with your culture and conservation into one story. Those interested in history of Colombia, in Boyacá, we have a lot of history of the formation of the country. Travel tip: when you're in Boyacá, stop by the cathedral in Chiquinquirá for a meal and a free self-guided tour of the historical religious site, one of the most important areas in Boyacá is the Chiquinquirá and the cathedral. Now let's start getting our questions here. I want to make sure and take a few questions to answer anything you need. But I do want to say that ecotourism in Colombia connects travelers to nature, supports communities, and helps protect biodiversity for future generations. And if you have any questions for me right now, type them in the chat. If you have any more questions, I will be at the Global Wildlife Fair. So meet us at the Global Wildlife Fair, October 10th through 12th, of course, in New Delhi, for the opportunity of buying equipment, exploring collaborations, and have meaningful conversations. If you want to contact me with any information, any question at all, you can contact me. Use social.rainoff.com, which you scan that QR code, it'll go to the same place. And you can come to me over WhatsApp or send me a message or send me an email. I'll be happy to answer any questions you send to me. If I don't have the information, my contacts will have it for you. And if you want to plan a trip to go to Colombia, I can tell you there are two ways to do it. You can pay a company to organize everything. That's the easy way. Or you can do it yourself and contact the different areas that you want to go to customize your tour. I don't sell tours, but I can connect you with lots of people who can help you organize a trip and reach any of your ecotourism and birding goals in Colombia. Thank you very much for listening to my presentation. And Mohit, thank you very much for the invitation to present this valuable information to the people of the Global Wildlife Fair.
Thank you, Adam. That was absolutely a fantastic presentation. I think one of the best so far. And I'm wonderstruck. I'm absolutely mesmerized with the variety of species and birds that you have in Colombia. And, which is why Colombia is every birder's dream. And I think you've really done justice to Colombia here in this webinar. Although it's a short one, you can't really justify everything. So, but when people meet you at the fair, that will be path-breaking, because then you can transport them into the dreamland. Every birder would want to go and photograph birds like you've done, and I'm sure it's hundreds and thousands of hours that you've spent photographing these birds. And I'm sure, at least people like bird watchers or photographers will be able to get a glimpse of that when they travel with experts that you have, or the local photographers who can assist, and that'd be great. And I have a friend here, Gitanjali, who's also a tour operator, and she's very, very sensitive to ecotourism and nature conservation. And she's a tourism expert too. And says, I wish the airfare would.
May I respond to that, Mohit?
Yeah.
The airfare is going to be the most expensive part of your trip. Colombia is one of the most economical places to go on the planet.
Yeah.
If you compare, for example, going to Colombia with going to Costa Rica, the costs in Costa Rica are sometimes 10 times the cost of going to Colombia.
Yeah.
And one of the barriers is that when we started this, we talked about, is Colombia safe? One of the barriers is the idea that Colombia is not safe for tourists. And I can tell you, with the right local guides, that is completely untrue. It is completely safe for everybody. We have Egor Merrick Sanchez connected with us today. He speaks English, and he's an excellent tour guide. He knows all of the local people. When we travel together to see these different places, and it's safe, it's economical, and it's easy. So, Gitanjali, I want to invite you to come visit Colombia. And I want to tell you that you're right. The airfare is expensive, but that's going to be the most expensive part of your trip, because in Colombia, you can get a very nice lodge stay for $10 a night. And then you can walk around with the family into their area, into their backyard, and see birds that you wouldn't see anywhere. So yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I do want to add one thing. We are going to have some pop-up presentations, informal pop-up presentations at the Global Wildlife Fair. I haven't been able to tell you yet, Mohit, but I'm going to surprise you right now and tell you we're going to have some pop-up presentations and little talks.
That'd be awesome.
At different times during the fair in front of our stand representing Colombia. We're going to have some pop-up talks to show off some different items that we have, to talk about different bird species. Egor will be there. Gisela will be there. We've got some technology that we use to search for the bird species that we're going to present. And also, there'll be a chance for you to ask questions. I will be at the exposition hall every moment that I can. Egor will be there, and Gisela will also be there to answer any questions. I'll tell you something. I'll tell you the truth about everything. I'm not here to sell you anything except for the love of nature.
That's so awesome. That's really, really motivating. It's so cool. I think people who are going to be there in at the bird fair, Global Wildlife Fair, they're just going to love meeting you. And then, friend, we've also planned one workshop on the morning of October 10th, when we open the fair, with Adam on photography, which we'll talk to you about. We're going to send you an email with the entire program, and then you'd be able to register for Adam's workshop. It's free of cost, and he's going to deliver that over a few hours. So do plan your visit accordingly.
Now,
Good.
I want to warn you. I want to warn
Yeah.
you that my class is less photography and more stories about how to get the picture. So it's not going to be technical. It's not going to be settings and all that. It's a little bit of that. But we're going to talk about how to get the photo, which is most important, because the settings are easy. I can teach you that in 2 minutes. But getting the picture is the best thing.
Wonderful. So thank you, friends. I will wind up this webinar now. And thank you so much, Igor and Gisela and Adam, for confirming your presence at the Global Wildlife Fair and for this wonderful webinar. And I'm going to repurpose it in different parts to reach out to other people who missed it out. And then we will have them meet you at the fair. Great.
Absolutely. I'll have the video posted on my webpage. I'll have the video posted on my Facebook and have the information available. And again, any question you have, shoot me a question. I'll respond back and connect you with the right people to get the best experience out of going to Colombia or anywhere else in this part of the world. I have contacts in different countries, not just Colombia. Just like Bojit, we're talking about East and West right here. So I'll see you in New Delhi.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. And good night, friends here in India. And good morning to those people who are there in the US. Enjoy your day. Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.